All right. Well, hey, everybody. It's Casey Corbin with Dynamic Fluid Art Coaching. And I have with me my longtime friend, at least on Facebook, Donna. Hey, Donna.
Hi.
Donna, we've interacted over the groups for, I think, many, many months now, I think. And
Lots of fun. Yeah.
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, and I think and you're friends with my profile, so my Facebook friend too. So you get my other crazy posts.
It's all good. It's all good.
I don't know that it's all good, but
it's funny. I'll say it's funny.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I like to be funny. I am doing something a little bit different today, guys. I'm broadcasting outside. I just figured out. You're going to turn around, but my house, the window right back there that's where the modem is, and so I thought, you know what? I bet you I can just Wi-Fi it out here. So I don't have my fancy mic, and I'm not plugged into the Ethernet and stuff. But so far, Donna tells me that I'm doing good. So you guys let me know. And Charlene, thanks for saying hi. So guys, when you join us, if you're watching live, please say hi. If you're watching later in replay, please say hi too, because we like to know that encourages us a lot. So if I drop out of existence for a second because of Wi-Fi, Donna has got a song prepared that she's going to sing.
I don't think so. I don't.
While I walk back into the house and plug into the Ethernet. So, but great. Well, Donna, you had contacted me after I had posted the post about the Mark Zuckerberg announcement about the 3 new features for Facebook Live, and you had just private messaged me and said something like, "Help! What do I do with this? How can I?" So that's and I said, "Let's do it live," and you agreed because you're very brave. So why don't you start off by just telling everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you wanted to come on to this call.
Typically, I teach watercolor in Troy, Ohio, to adults, and the camaraderie, the community is it's fabulous. We've been a group for over 10 years. It's
wow.
a great group. And they've grown, and several of them have gone on to be award-winning watercolors.
Wow.
Very proud of them, and they're my babies. I really miss them. So I thought, well, I should jump in and just try an online watercolor workshop, actually. So I now have 5 students waiting for all this to roll out, and I did one video, an intro video, and I thought they got it. I did it through Vimeo, and
cool.
Yeah, well, I got one student coming back and saying she didn't get it, so
no.
So that's why I wanted, to maybe hear if there's anything else out there that can help this. I do have a private Facebook group for them, so I've got that going. So I don't know.
Great. That's good. Wonderful. Well, as you probably know, that I've built my own membership group, which is profitable, right? So people pay for, started building it 2 years ago, but really didn't launch it until February of last year. So a little over a full year with one level. And then about halfway through, about 6 months into it, I started a second level, right at a different price point, for includes a mastermind.
Yep.
And then, but now I have 4 levels, and so one of them's free. And so, yeah, because I just really wanted it to be anybody could access, no matter where they are, and kind of grow, from there. So, so right now I've got there's a little bit of sophistication to it, a little bit of I certainly would not have started out that way, because the complication of it would have just confused me and pulled me out of my comfort zone, and I would have shut down. So, so I do recommend starting with something very simple, and that's what's really wonderful about the what it sounds like that the new Facebook offerings are going to be able to give to us, right? So that will be great. And so if it's like I used third-party software like 22 Social, where right now we're on StreamYard, which, all things being equal, I'll continue to use StreamYard, but still we'll pump it into the live because it's got so many great features to it. but to start off with what like you're doing and other people have done, if Facebook kind of takes up on those features that you can just do it right, then that would be great. We need to lower the barrier of entry, and I think Facebook gives us some opportunities to be able to do that. And I think that you're timing this very perfectly.
It's not my timing. I know that.
That's great. That's great. Neat. Yeah, me too. So tell us a little bit about more. Like if you got this thing started and a month from now, what would it look like to you? What would you like to be doing with it?
The group?
Yeah, your online teaching watercolor. Yeah.
It's going to be similar to what I do, in person. Look like I want that community feeling.
All right.
That's why I did the Facebook, the small group there. So that's I think that's the biggest thing, and then that all the education that comes along with it. Yeah, and I think that's what everybody else wants too.
Yeah. What do you? Let me ask you a question, and I want you to think about the answer. Okay. All right. The people that join your group, are they going to want to learn techniques, or are they going to want to connect with you? Which of those two will be their primary?
Wow, that's hard to say at primary. I think it's probably 50-50.
Because she's humble, y'all. It's just because she's humble. She doesn't want to say it, but
no, I think it's 50-50.
I don't. I think it's you. I think they want to connect with you.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because you're awesome. Wow. You got a great personality, and you're fun to talk to, and they're fun to learn from. Right? And I watched some of your lives, before, and yes, they were great. They were just really great, and because honestly, we live in the post-information age. So if somebody wants to learn a certain watercolor technique, right, or fluid art technique, whatever it might be, they can go to YouTube and find out. They can do enough research to find out the technique. But people now, we're in the post-information age, people have kind of had it with that. We now have information overload, and we need a guide to guide us through this information, right? And so that's where they're going to want, they already do. They want to connect with you, Donna, and who you are, because they know you, they like you, and they trust your advice, right? To help weed through this, this jungle of information that's out there.
That's cool. I'm writing these nice ideas down. That's
I tell you what, too, is that you'll have this as a recording, too, so you can go back to it. That'd be nice. That's nice, too, isn't it? Yeah. So it's one thing about, you'd asked about the StreamYard that I use, which is a great software. There's a free level, folks, that you can get started on. I used it for almost a year before I started paying for it. I now pay for a $25 a month program, very inexpensive, because I wanted some additional features. Right now, I'm piping this, if you will, to my page, right? So if you guys have a little intro to Facebook, is that you have a personal profile. So Casey Corbin, this is my personal page, right? That owns a business page, and that business page owns several groups, right?
Right.
And so I've got this into right now. This is goes right to my business page. Simultaneously, it's going to my YouTube channel.
You mentioned that earlier. That's fabulous. But
yeah,
that's on the that's not the free level. That's going to be on the higher level, I would think, right?
I'm trying to remember. I think that to go to more than one destination, you probably do have to pay. But the way around that for a while is you can just download the recording and then upload it to YouTube. So if you, or whatever destination you want to go to. But I told Donna whenever she got on here, I said, Donna, I'm going to need you to stall for me a little bit and tell everybody a little bit about yourself while I go on and I click, and I send it from my page and I share it to my groups. So now it's going to a couple groups right now too. So as we speak right now, it's going to 4 different locations. And so that's nice to do. Now, the next level of membership, you can send up to 5 levels of 5 different destinations at one time, so I wouldn't even have to bother to do that. So at some point I'll upgrade and do that too. But again, we have some. I was just in a mastermind group with my friend Sarah Thurman, who wrote the Beginnings, and which I just love. And she said,
your screen froze. You're not.
We just blanked out for a second there, I think.
Yeah, you're not moving, but
yeah.
Well, and the words are coming and going. So.
Okay. Can you hear me okay now? We'll continue. If that happens again, I'll walk inside. Okay.
I'm
and plug in.
loving looking at that sunshine out there.
Isn't it nice? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty great out here. So we're having just a beautiful day. I couldn't stay inside. So then again, we're getting a little technical, but the point of this is everybody just start, just start. Especially if you're watching this in replay, maybe months or years later, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 coronavirus, social distancing, shelter in place, stuff. And so there's never been a part of our technical difficulties that have happened or may happen in this whole thing. Is that your mask? I love it. All right, that's good. Is because we have so many people are trying to get online right now, and so we just don't have the infrastructure or the bandwidth, for everybody to be able to do everything. And it's, Zoom is reporting just astronomical numbers of uses. Facebook is up 400%. So it's just kind of crazy right now. So one is that there's always technological issues, and so Donna, when you start your class, you're going to have some technical hiccups, and that's okay, right? It really, really is. And especially, I love doing lives as opposed to doing pre-recorded videos, because people don't expect a live to be perfect. But if they're going to, buy a course and have pre-recorded videos, they're wanting it to be pretty perfect, and having, all the bells and whistles with it. We've gotten a little spoiled with that. So, to be honest with you, most of my courses is just recorded lives, because people are very forgiving of lives and live.
You just used the word recorded lives. I've been doing the live paintings, about 4 nights a week now. And
wow.
I started out as 7 nights a week. I can't do that. But anyway, you said recorded lives, and I've noticed that after I push the finish button, then it gives me a choice to save. So I do save that, and it's saved on my Facebook page. And I imagine it's probably saved on my phone also.
Yeah, if you chose to save it on your phone, then yeah, that video should be right there in your photos. You use an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that's really easy to use. From there, you can upload directly to any other kind of repository of your videos that you want to use. So, for example, my membership groups are on a platform called Podia, and Podia has been really, really great for me. Their customer service is great. The kind of the top of the tier is something called Kajabi, and it runs somewhere between $150 and $200 a month, right? For that platform. This one runs about $80 a month, so it's nicely kind of half priced in there. It's very easy to use. I would not go join it, right now. But when you do, use my affiliate link, so I get a cut.
Okay.
but you can really just get started with the free technology that we have. There's the old expression, "Build it and they will come." That's really passé. That's just not true anymore. The new way of doing things, the better way of doing things is see who you're attracting, right? Who's already watching these videos. Then ask them, what do you want? Their Q&A, your community, your conversations with them. That will lead to ask them, what should I teach next week, guys? You let me know. And then, you build it with them. Now you already have what we call social proof that this works, right? There's another really important, I brought this up in the interview that I did with Amy. So if you haven't watched that one, go back and watch the same kind of coaching call that I did with Amy. There's this term called MVP, right? It means something new now. Instead of most valuable player, it means minimum viable product, and it's really a good kind of motto, and it really helps with people that have issues with perfectionism, like I used to. I don't think I do anymore, but just create the minimum viable product. If someone is wanting to learn how to teach classes online, what do they need to know? Because the way that I used to do things a couple of years ago is I would write a book the size of an encyclopedia, and it'd be too much, right? And so it's like, no, I don't. That's confusing me. I want to know. I have these 6 questions, and I need to know these answers, and that's all I want right now.
Yeah, I've been around that block. Yeah, I know that. That's true.
Yeah. So minimum viable product. Okay. And how can that be delivered in the most minimum way possible, right? Minimum financially, minimum, as far as ease of use, And most people are on Facebook, and most people understand their features. And if not, you can teach them rather quickly because that's just a platform that they're familiar with.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. My biggest problem with, I bought this Podia platform. I'm, spending, lots of money, every year, on this thing. And my existing membership that started on Facebook, I can't get the majority of them to go sign up over on Podia.
They like the Facebook platform.
That's right. Yeah. Ooh. So they stick there, and I'm like, look, I'll handhold you. I'll say, here, put your password in here. Do this. Just get on there. The ones that have gotten over there really do like all the features that it has, and it's going to work out really fine. But it's just so funny that we as people, we just don't change.
But that's really interesting. That's interesting that they would prefer that. Is it because you do that live Facebook and they like that live interchange?
I think I think if I started on Podia, that they'd be, and I said, hey, let's switch over to Facebook, they'd fight that, so
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's just the change.
Got it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good. So when you contacted me, did you have any specific questions? I want to make sure that we go with your agenda on this call. I have some things that I can share with you, but what ideas did you have by reading the article about the new features that Mark Zuckerberg announced?
That was my problem. That's why I contacted you. I tried to watch the video. I couldn't get it. So I have no idea what he's offering.
Okay. Very good. Well,
and the biggest thing I want is to provide the best experience that I can.
Very good. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and share my what I prepared for us here as far as the announcement came. Let's see. I don't have it set up the way I want to. 1 second here. I'll teach you a little bit about StreamYard. One is I've got the wrong logo up here. I got my Good to Great, which is my counseling select with a button. I can switch that over to my Dynamic Fluid Art and my Dynamic Fluid Art coaching logos up there in the corner. So there's just a little, and there's these things called.
I'm looking at StreamYard right now, or.
Yeah, you're in the StreamYard dashboard, and so it's the guest dashboard. You don't have all the access to everything that I do on here, but okay. And then I created see where I made the top of that disappear? That's called an overlay, because I'm going for a minimum viable product. Most people create a document of things they want to share, then they create slides, and then they do a slideshow, but that is just, to me, feels like an unnecessary step. So if I can remember that, take that ugly ribbon across the top, of here, and remove it, and then I'm going to change my background to match. Boom. And then
that's clear. That's clean. That's very nice.
In that, yeah. So I kind of just played around with that and discovered that, and I've shared it with other people in the StreamYard community that seem to like it as well too. And if you could see my, let's see if I can do this. Now I've got this document that I'm now able to scroll up and down on in another window, and I have my screen split. So there might be a time that you are teaching in your watercolor class that you might use something like this, where you might need some written material, and you can show them that. Last 2 weeks ago, Friday, about a week and a half ago, I did a live class on intro to doing fluid art, right? And we piped that to 2 different art centers that I had created a agreement with. And so just the same way that I'm going to several different groups and pages right now, they gave me admin privileges to be able to go on and send the video to Tifton and Thomasville, Georgia's art center, right? And so they're on those pages if you guys wanted to look them up. If you contact me if you want a link, and I'll hook you up so you can see them. And I found a couple fun things in doing that. One is that my sister-in-law, who has a Little Leaf art studio, she has this camera that sits on a desk like this and kind of points down so you can see it, right? And that with a USB port, it hooked up right to my laptop, and it became the camera instead of using this one right here. That one was the main one, and so that made it super easy to show people close-ups of what I'm doing. Do you have something like that to be able to show people the close-ups of your watercolor?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, great. You have a camera like that? Great. What do you have?
What I have is just it's called a selfie something. It's just your phone.
Okay.
And I have it angled at the
Perfect.
same angle as the watercolor paper.
There you go.
Or I have a camera, video camera on tripod, which
Okay.
I did the first Vimeo on that, and I don't know where it is.
It went into the ether. Yeah. Well, get comfortable with technological issues. Okay, those will never leave us. That sounds perfect, right? And ironically, that's what I did as well with I had an old, I think it was an iPhone 3 or 5, just lying around, and it's just on Wi-Fi. I didn't even have any signal, and I set it up on a tripod. And so it's looking at me, and it's showing so I got the one. I used basically two cameras. One is the one I just described for the desk, and the other one is this old phone that's again just on Wi-Fi. And it was uh, uh, from it, I had the monitor where I could see it, and it was split where it showed my close up and it showed me. So it kind of showed me from far away, so I could turn and look and talk to people. And then it also had the majority of what people watched was a split screen, a zoom in of what I was doing on the table, and then kind of a more backed away one. But that worked out so well. Not only was it a camera, but it was also a monitor for me, because my wife was on my laptop and she was monitoring comments, questions, these kind of things. And so it worked out really, really well. And look at the tech that I had involved there. Almost nothing. I had an old phone and I could have used another old phone like you're doing to do the zoom in, right? So when my sister-in-law wants that camera back, I'm not worried about it. I'll just use another old phone. They have incredible cameras on them. So anyway, so it's kind of, it's a low tech way. Let's go back to Mark. Basically announced 3 new features that Facebook is getting into. These, from what I can tell, they're not currently available. I heard rumor that they have, they're testing them in Europe right now and some other select places, but soon, right? And he spoke about them as being their response to the coronavirus situation. So I'm sure that they're trying to implement them just as soon as they can. So I would expect, to have access to these features. Some of you that might be watching this right now, you might have access to it right now. Don't know, depending on your area. I don't. So,
Okay.
But there are basically 3 things. One is messenger rooms, which are basically chat rooms, right? The second thing is that you'll be able to charge a fee for Facebook Lives, and then I believe that Facebook will be handling all the financing for that part. They'll you'll probably have to pay some kind of fee to that, right? They'll keep a percentage of that, and then they'll pay you, probably at the end of the month or something for anything that's collected. And then the last thing is expanded features in a live, which are things like being able to bring somebody on. They used to do it before. It was called Live With. You could only do it on your phone, and I didn't even know that it had gone away. But evidently they're bringing that back, and some more crazy features like basically green screen capability, and those what do you call those, skins or masks, that can you into a wolf, and you're talking.
Right.
And those kind of things. But I'm not super excited about those special features. I don't think that that's something that I'll be using. But
so that second one about charging,
yeah,
are they going to require that we pay for?
Mm-mm.
No,
we'll still have Facebook Lives the way that they are, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's not been released and I have not experienced it. It has. It will be a opportunity for you to be able to charge for people to be able to watch your video. In other words, you'll go live and do a Facebook Live, and people can either pay to watch it or they don't get to watch it. Now, YouTube has been playing with this for a while now, and so YouTube has had some success with being you paying. It's mostly been more like a tip. You could still watch it, but you could tip them if you wanted to, right? You could pay right into the chat and chat along with them. They had something called a super member, super chatter. The name is escaping me right now. And those just had some additional bells and whistles. They appeared in a special font and color. All right, so take have you followed Sandra Trumpletter?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's great. So if you watch any of her lives on YouTube, you can tell that they've done a really good job of monetizing. To my knowledge, they're still free for you to be able to watch, but you can contribute right there.
Okay.
can also become somebody comment if you know. Charlene, do you know this? It's a super chatter or something, super member, super something. Anyway, again, it leaves me for right now. But you can pay for, I think it's as little as like $5 or $10 a month, and then whatever you chat now comes up to the top. Well, why is that important? Well, if there's hundreds of people watching, most of those chats are being missed. The questions are asked are being missed. They're not getting around to them. But if you have, now yours is at the top and yours is bright, red or something, then your question is going to get seen and probably responded to. So it's kind of worth it to the person that wants to support Sandra, and also get their questions asked. So as I pause on that, it's just an amazing world that we live in right now, isn't it, Donna?
Yes, it really is. And I love being here this time, even if we've got COVID. That's okay.
Yeah,
it's not okay, but yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, I've actually felt pretty, bad at times because I'm having a very easy experience through this. I'm an introvert anyway. I work from home 90% of the time. My business is up. My income is up.
Oh, great.
I'm not having personally a negative experience, and I'm trying to be, sympathetic towards, God bless the people that are sick or that know somebody who's sick. I'm not trying to minimize that experience. I feel very deeply for them, and I'm looking for ways to try to help people that are in that situation. But I'm having a blast. My wife's home as a teacher. You've been a teacher. And so she's home. My kids are home. My 3 kids that are still at home. I got a grown son that's left the home, but I'm having a blast. I just love it. But anyway, Donna, you interrupt with any questions because that's going to be a lot more interesting than me just blabbing on about this handout.
Okay.
So how can we benefit from this? Well, the messenger room, I'm kind of most excited about that one, strangely enough, probably because I already have the infrastructure to charge for videos. I'll play with it. I'll play for the live, so people could pay $15 to attend my webinar. Okay, well, that's neat. That's a game changer, and especially depending on how Facebook structures it, I hope that it's going to be a one-click pay system, which we do that now. Like whenever you buy an app on your phone, right? So you're like, you want this app, and you just push the button. So many times people don't even notice what the price is on the app. They just push the button, they do their thumb scan or whatever, and they've got this new app on there, and they didn't have to stop and put in a credit card number, and do all that stuff, right? So that if Facebook does it smart, they'll have it either preloaded or a preloaded account, or so that the financial part is already taken care of, so that people can just quickly go, oh yeah, I want to see how to do this knitting technique, with a, I don't know anything about knitting, but I've always wanted to learn the crotch is the hatch stitch number 4 or whatever, and they're like, I'll pay $2 to watch this 15-minute video to do that, and then people just kind of do this rather quickly. And so if somebody on the other end that's teaching that is they have 200 people to watch that, they just made $400, so that's nice. So I'm hoping that they do it in a way that is just a one-click opportunity for them. That could be a big game changer, and I might, I would really restructure to do a lot more of those things. You just don't know, if they make it where it's kind of cumbersome, to join and cumbersome to pay, then it probably is not going to work. But I hope that they're thinking that. But I'm kind of more excited about the messenger rooms than that, because right now you can have up to 8 people when they release it. Up to 8 people on screen with you. And so, it's just think about your screen kind of dividing in half, and then, 4. So 2 columns, and then 4 in each line. Now that would be wonderful for you to teach your fluid. Let's say you got 8 people, you're teaching how to do watercolor. Well, they can easily share with you exactly what they're doing, right? They can just point their phone at their paper and go, look, I made this terrible mistake. And you can say, oh, you can fix that. Just do this, this, and this, right? So smaller classes like that. I believe that 8 people can be on screen at a time, but in the room, you can have up to 50 people.
So how do you or you don't know yet how you control who is actually on, who the 8 people are if you've got 50, you know?
Yeah, from what I've heard, there's going to be 2 ways to open up your room, right? One is by invitation only, and so I would imagine you'll get a permalink to be able to share with them.
Okay.
And so let's say that you you market it for 2 weeks. People that want to learn how to do this seascape watercolor, right? And you have a nice picture of what the end product is going to be. It's going to be a class that's for an hour, and then there'll be 30 minutes of Q&A, afterwards, right? After I do the demo. I'm not saying that's the way you should structure it. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right. That's an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they, then they pay, $10 to be a part of that. I'm lowballing, right now. And, so they pay, and then they get access, to it. The nice thing is you can tell them, hey, it's going to be on my special group that I'll admit you to. So whether or not you're really available at 1:00 on Friday to do this or not, you can still catch it and replay, no problem. But those that are there in the, I'm assuming that you can record it. So we're back into the messenger room. So that I'm unsure of. I don't know if you can record it. I would imagine that we could use at least third-party software like the StreamYard that we're on right now to record that group, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to see how that works.
So you down at the bottom of that paragraph, you have great venue for Mastermind sharing. We have used it for Mastermind groups for nearly a year now. So you have already used messenger rooms?
Well, that Messenger currently has the ability to be able to message more than one person right now, right?
True.
So I think the rooms are going to be different just with the invitation process, is that you can send people this link and then they can join you. From my understanding, it's going to be more like an open house. And I think that they're not really putting it out there for like businesses to profit from, like we were talking about earlier, to do a class. It's meant to be like, let's say, for example, my 13-year-old daughter, who's up in her room right now doing some schoolwork, but she gets done, and her friends, she could open up a messenger room for them to just kind of pop in and pop out, right? She could be on there just talking about her favorite TV show, and which is anime right now, going on and on about that. And they pop in and pop out. They got, my daughter Maddie's in there. 2 or 3 friends are in there at the same time. Their mom calls them and says, hey, you need to do your chores. So they pop out. 10 minutes later, they come back in. It's that kind of open house environment where it's just kind of like friends getting together, but in a virtual atmosphere. Right?
That sounds like the answer to what I really want. I want to create that community feeling that I have in person. So that sounds like the best thing, because it would be similar to what we're experiencing right now. You can see me, I can see you. There will be 5 or 8 different people on there. Okay. That's
right. Yeah. So like earlier I said, hey, to Charlene, and she checked in, but we don't see Charlene, right? It's because we're in this live. Now I could go to the, if I wanted Charlene to come on, I could download the same link that I sent to you, and she could join us here. Okay. But in the messenger room, she could just pop in, right, and say, hey, how y'all doing? And I gotta go, and take off, right? But we would see her there, and so that would be neat. Right. So it's going to have a capacity up to 50 people in a room. To my knowledge, I don't see how they would have 50 people on one screen. So I think that would be limited, probably like Zoom is, we got Zoom, they really are using this. Some of the articles that I read said that Facebook is going after Zoom, right? Where they, if you're familiar with Zoom, if you're watching this, it's there, easily you can have like up to, I think 200, maybe more, people.
That's amazing. I have not experienced it yet. And I don't know. I just wasn't really attracted to it, but this sounds like something that would work for me.
Yeah.
So Mark Zuckerberg, let's do it now.
Yeah, that's right. I am sure he feels the same way. It's probably just them getting their first of all, like they're having a hard enough time just keeping up with increased demand to keep it stable, to keep Facebook stable. I was on a mastermind group, earlier today, like I mentioned, and one of the members said that they've been doing lives, and for some reason, like the first 12 minutes of their call did not record, and so it was just lost. Yeah.
No.
So they had the other 43 minutes or whatever was left on it, that you could pull it up and replay and, on the site, but the first 12 minutes were just gone. So it's like, what? Again, the whole world is trying to fit on the World Wide Web right now, and
I know. I know.
never happened before. It was kind of funny. All right, great. So I think we're hitting most of these things. It's going to be like a chat room, or kind of open a house, and it'll be like Zoom, and you can have up to 50 people in a certain room. The way I think that we could use it as art teachers is being able to interact with our students better.
Right.
They could show us what they're working on. We can stop what we're doing and kind of redirect and answer questions. They can show us where they're having issues, and we could it would be a lot more interactive than just a live, where we really don't know what's going on the other side of the person who's watching. So like you said, Donna, the community is super important. That's really what makes it, and I think what people are really longing for right now, don't you?
I do. I noticed that in bold you have, even if they don't have a Facebook account.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah. I don't know how that works. I think because they're really trying to merge the WhatsApp, which Facebook bought many years ago. I believe that was a contender of, I think they bought out their competition for Messenger, which they bought out Messenger years before then. So, it's the WhatsApp is something I'm unfamiliar with. So I'm planning on downloading it if I can. I heard it was just international, so we'll see. How that works. If anybody here knows how that works, please comment, whether you're watching live or in replay. I'd love to understand WhatsApp a little bit better. But I assume that might probably already be a feature of WhatsApp, is that you don't have to be a Facebook member in order to be able to use that. So that will be very interesting to see how that works, because like right now the majority of stuff that I do is on Facebook or connected to Facebook. And I also have an email list. And so when I'm emailing people, sometimes people email me back and say, I don't get on Facebook. And I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
don't know what to do to help you with that one. Well, everything I'm doing is on Facebook.
That's what's funny right now. We are, like we're so isolated. And my husband always said, I'll never do Facebook. I never Facebook. He's loving it now.
I have so many friends that I'm just like, they're commenting and they're sending me friend requests, and I'm like, what? You here? You swore you would never.
Right.
It's definitely a new world. I think we're going to be forever changed by this.
I do
think
too.
that,
In a good way.
I think so. It's like I had a appointment with my cardiologist last week, who's in a town that's an hour drive from me. Right. And it's just a checkup, right? He's not doing anything. And
you did a video checkup.
He did it on the video. He did it by telemed. It was great. It was so great. I didn't sit in a lobby. I didn't have to drive anywhere. I didn't have to, there's been other times, not with this doctor, but other doctors, that I'm sitting in the lobby and the nurse comes out and says, I'm sorry, everybody, the doctor's been called to the hospital, and you're like, great. So I think this world is going, I think there's been such a resistance to take advantage of the technology that we have, that now that we've been forced to, that it's going to stick. And I think it's going to be a different world.
I keep thinking back, speaking of that technology, thinking back to the fact that you said you had an old iPhone 3 and you were able to do a split screen. Is it possible for you to describe how I might do that?
Yeah, now that was using StreamYard, okay?
Okay.
So let's see if that would be, that should be fully functional on the free membership of StreamYard, okay? And so I'll post a link to StreamYard for everybody. And
great.
If you end up buying it, then I get a cut, okay? So that'd be great.
Fine.
Yeah, but even just using the free aspect of it is really great. Now, the way that I did that is like I sent you, for you to be on this call, I'll speak to everybody who's watching. So for Donna to be on this call, I set up the call in StreamYard, which is completely online. It's not software that I've had to download. I just go to my StreamYard account and, in one of the tabs, on my browser.
Okay.
It really likes Chrome, by the way. And so Donna, for Donna to get on this call, she picked up, I sent it to her in Facebook Messenger. She clicked on it, and then she's got her camera set up, and she appeared at the bottom of my, on my dashboard. So I click and allow her to pop up, here on this, what you're watching right now. And so I can do the same thing by sending it to myself. So on my old phone, I think ironically still had my I think I did it by email, right? And so I sent it by email. That phone was still hooked up to be able to, access my email. Clicked on there, and now it's just a device, right? It's just I could use if you guys have extra pads, around, or little like my kids use a lot of Kindles, right?
Yeah. Right.
Or iPads, those types of things, right?
Uh-huh.
Send it to there and use its camera function too. And some of those cameras are just really great. It's amazing how tiny they are. How they work. Yeah. Yeah. So I've played around with the idea of having several perspectives. I think I kind of, I don't know that I shared on the StreamYard community group, and people went crazy over the idea. So I think that hadn't occurred to a lot of folks, is that, hey, you can use some old cameras and I can shoestring some stuff together. Let me tell you. Good. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what kind of masterminds have you participated in the past, if you don't mind me asking?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you had shared that you did. Okay. All right. Great. So I'm just kind of going down the list here, is that even if they don't have a Facebook account, they're going to be able to use this. It's going to be very interesting. Eventually, the rooms will be available on Instagram, which is very hot right now. Okay. And then WhatsApp, right? And then something called the Facebook portal. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's kind of like it's integrated with Alexa. We have an Echo Dot almost in every room of our house. We're so dependent on Alexa right now. So we're constantly saying, Alexa, add cheese to shopping list, and Alexa, do this.
We have it, but we're not using it that much yet.
Oh my, we absolutely love it. Yeah, we love Alexa. She has been very, very good to us. And then we mentioned earlier that there's going to be some of the augmented realities and the virtual backgrounds, these kind of filters that are available on there too. And the Facebook portal, my mother, God bless her, she's been diagnosed with dementia. She's still living on her own right now. And so I am on the wait list to buy one of those Facebook portals, because I think that'll be, there's the kind that is its own stand, and then the kinds that hook up into your TV. So I think that will be something that'll be very helpful for us to stay, in connection with my mother.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that technology. That's great. And then the second part was that soon you'll be able to charge a fee for your for your Facebook live streams. All right. And I do a lot of Facebook lives, sometimes using StreamYard, sometimes not. But this will be a way. We don't know too much. I haven't seen anything released about the details about how we'll get paid and how you'll be able to do that. How do you set your price up, and all those things. I would think that it's going to integrate really well with events. Do you use Facebook events right now, Donna?
I have just like once, not much.
Yeah, I'd really recommend that you capitalize everything you do, make an event. The thing, you contacted me a couple of days ago. We set this thing up. I created a Facebook event off of my page to get it out there, because events are these incredible free marketing, like little agents that exist out there in the ether. I set it up. People get notification because they've liked the page. I shared the link to the event in a couple of emails that I sent out about this today. So the Facebook events are, once you learn how you want to do them, I can begin and end a Facebook event in less than 2 minutes. Boom, 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 hit and go. Right. So it's something that you can really utilize. So
That's good to know. That's good to know. I never thought of it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, they're great. People, especially like your watercolor classes. Like next month, let's say that you got several watercolor classes that you're offering next month. It goes on to a calendar that people that don't even know you, that have never connected with you, that don't know anything about your Facebook page or your groups or anything like that, are just looking for something to do, right? and they search on Facebook's events, and there pops up Donna's class. Oh, that's cool, right? And so it's marketing for you, and it doesn't cost you a dime, to do that.
That is a good idea. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do events for absolutely everything.
It's probably not too late to go ahead and put an event up at this point.
No, do it. Yeah, absolutely do it. And I would get into the habit of building an event for everything. Do you right now in your marketing, like I use Canva to create like the cover image, the thumbnail for this that we're on right now? Have you ever used Canva, or do you use another program to create, little pretty information images?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay, so like, let's see if I can.
Yeah, are you talking about like your logo that you have up there in the corner, the coaching logo?
I did use the logo on there. If we went to, okay, I'll tell you what, just for you, whenever you're done, whenever we're done with this, go back and when you watch this, right? Let's say you watch it on the Teachers of Flow free page. Okay, you remember there, I think, right? Is when you see it in the stream, it's going to have this thing that I made on Canva, and it says Donna is going to does a free coaching call with Casey about the new features of Facebook. I forgot exactly how I said that, but I created that image. And so if you create an image like that and put it into your event, then it really stands out. It looks really nice. And so for your
okay, I just used something different.
What do you use?
I've used Photoshop. I've used
Photoshop is the king. Yeah, there you go.
Elements. Yeah.
So if I were you, instead of a completed piece of art that's like framed and stuff, when someone looks at that, they think, oh, someone's selling art. But for you, maybe it might be as a nice close up of your brush, your brush painting, the paint, that kind of communicates. They say that we have now under 2 seconds to get somebody's attention, and then they're on to something else, right? They're clicking off.
Right. I believe it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we do too, don't we? We're just click.
Yeah. It's like, I want it now. Not yesterday. I want it now.
That's right. We are impatient people.
Yeah.
So some kind of action oriented, that instantly communicates this person isn't trying to sell me art. What are they doing? Oh, they want to teach me art, right? This is a brush putting down watercolor. Oh, it looks great, or this looks doable, or whatever. If you're teaching advanced students, then maybe the background of the piece looks really, really intricate. If you're teaching beginning, then maybe you have kind of a simplistic picture that someone doesn't feel intimidated by, right? So in that image, be thinking about what it communicates in 1 second when somebody looks at that image. And then of course on Canva, or like what you use, right, you can put words on there. You can put things about it starts on this date at what time, and or little bits of information right into the image. It's a really good idea.
I've got students that are communicating with me, and I'm listening to you, and I mean, because they're ordering their supplies, and because of the lack of orders being filled, they are just scrambling, going everywhere. And do they have this? Do they have all this? So I have to answer these real quick. So I'm good. I'm back.
Okay. The one thing that you might even consider that like a theme, right? Is how can I learn watercolor when I can't access all the products and supplies that I need right now because of the COVID crisis, right? The theme that I did last week was do fluid art using alternative materials. I used olive oil instead of silicone.
Oh, how cool. Mix, right? How to work?
Yeah. I used old house paint that actually we just moved here a couple months ago. That this paint was here in the house. I found it, and it was old paint, right? Old latex house paint. How to use it instead of artist level acrylic paint, right? And so we mixed it and we got it refined.
That's cool.
If you can't get pouring medium right now, if you can't get Floetrol right now, what do you use? So we just used water. You don't have any canvases around your house. What do you have on your house that
what can you pour on? Let's just pour everything.
And we did.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. That is so.
Yeah. So you can make this work. You can take. If people have limitations right now, that's not a bad thing. You have an expert. You have a knowledge base that can solve problems for them, and that's why they want to connect with you. Yeah.
I am writing these good ideas down. Thank you.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Good. Good. All right. So hopefully the paid live stream will be something that we'll all be able to monetize, and that it's really just it's gonna depend on how they sell it and how they package it. So it's going to be pretty good. We'll be able to reach much larger than 50 people in a live. So in the messenger rooms, we're limited to 50. In the lives, we're unlimited. Okay. I think there's a cap out at 5,000 or something crazy like that. But for our purposes, we have an unlimited amount.
Wow.
Facebook will, retain a percentage, I'm quite sure, but as usually they offer things for free for a while in an introductory period, and they'll probably just charge a transaction fee. Maybe not even. They might even absorb that for a little while too. So we'll see. But that transaction fee is typically under 3%, so it's not really a deal breaker.
It's worth it for what you get.
Yes, yeah, for sure, yeah. And again, I think that it'll integrate very nicely with the events. As far as, because when you build an event, it has a place for ticketing information, and you can use Eventbrite, or you can use your website, or you can use PayPal, whatever. You can put a link in there, and so it just makes sense that since they're building that infrastructure, that it will be very easy to use in an event like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
I just share my pumpkin. Like my pumpkin.
Yeah. You see. Oh. I thought you were going to show me a picture of a pumpkin that you did in watercolor. That's great. That's great. Good. So the last feature is the live with, which again allows you during a live, not a messenger group, right, but a live with, to be able to bring somebody on screen with you. And this will be a wonderful thing. So let's say that like last week, whenever I was doing that class for how to learn to do fluid art using materials that you have in your home, right, that somebody could kind of chat in there and say, hey, can I show you what just happened? And I could bring them on to my live. And it doesn't matter if I've got 4 people watching this thing or if I've got 4,000 people watching this thing. That one person can come on screen with me, and I can say, okay, now hold your phone or bend your laptop down so I can see what you're doing, and everybody can see. And I can say, oh, okay, well, I see what happened there. Your problem is that your paint is still too thick. You're going to need to thin that down, right? Well, that's a great learning opportunity.
Oh, it is. Yeah. That's another thing that I want to do. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that will be a game changer for us. That will be, and it's, they sound like it's going to be real easy. I have brought people live with. I remember using that maybe a year ago. I was just kind of playing with it, but I didn't use it in business. I was just having fun with it. And that was it was a click, and they were brought on, to your live with you, and then you click them, to get them off, so we could do that with several students during the same live. And it'd be really good for bringing people on for Q&A. It'd be really great for bringing on a guest, much like, I brought you on to this call, as my guest. So these will be some really neat features.
Very much so.
Yeah. I
hope it comes tomorrow.
I know, right? I hope so too. But I don't think it is going to happen tomorrow. But I hope so. That'd be great. Well, Donna, did you have any other questions for us?
I think that covers it. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like I've got a lot of research to do.
Yeah. Again, both you, Donna, and everybody else that's watching, don't be intimidated, right? You're going to have some places where you're going to fail, and so embrace that. Let me tell you 2 things that I failed with my, real quick, and then we'll wrap this up, with my free live thing that I did last 2 Fridays ago. Is that one is I intended to have my email automation set up, and I intended to have a free ebook. Now, this is beginning level people that have never done fluid art before, right? And then in exchange for their email address. And like I said, I've been really, really busy right now, a counselor, and I've got regular clients, and stuff too. And I did get that done. And so I lost that opportunity. So what's going to happen next time that I do this? I'm going to make sure that I have that in place, right? And so we don't look at these things. Hey, Kathy Morgan just gave us a thumbs up. We want to make sure that we have that we view these things not as failures, but as opportunities to be able to grow, right? So Absolutely. Don't hesitate, don't stop, don't think you got to have this perfectly ready, don't think you got to get everything right. Okay.
I need to hear that.
Just do it. Just do it. Get going. There's a world of bored people out there right now that you are essential. All right. What you're doing, Donna, right now is essential. What you listeners, what you're doing, what you can offer people right now is essential. So help them because they're going stir crazy.
Oh, it's a funny experience. It really is.
It really is. Donna, you are awesome. And I've really enjoyed being able to talk with you right now. Thanks so much for coming on here.
Well, thank you, Casey. We appreciate you.
All right. All right. You have a really good day. See y'all later. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.